Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Wanyega. How are you doing? Thank you so much for finding my channel. Please click subscribe and hit notifications so you never miss an episode, and we upload every Monday. And we're living out loud at the super glorious Diani Sea Lodge, situated in the southern coast of Kenya in Ukunda. What an incredible place to be. You can hear the wind blowing, the sun is out, the ocean is calling. Can you hear it? I think you can. But in today's episode, we speak about managing pain. Our guest is waiting online. She's on standby to talk about living with lupus. Let's go live out loud with her next. Thank you for making the time to do this with me and being patient. I'm so glad I caught you before you left. I really just need to get a bit more tech savvy with things when I'm alone.
It's okay. You are fine. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I cannot. Sheila, I am so, just know that I have been wanting to do this with you for, as soon as you replied, I was like, I want to cry. But
boy, please don't cry. It's
like my pleasure. Like, to sit down with somebody like of your caliber to tell my story, a story that nobody wants to hear. It's like, it's humbling. Just so it's very, very humbling, because to maneuver the media market in Kenya or the celebrity market in Kenya, like when you talk to people of your caliber back home, they want money to talk to them.
No.
Yes, so it's like, why do you want money to hear my story so that you can help other people? Right. It does not make sense. And I have even tried to get into the government so that they can help people who are going through the same thing, because I have a support group that has over 250 members. Mm-hmm. We have filled a WhatsApp group, and the biggest thing is medication and consultation and NHIF not being able to pay. Yeah. And getting to the government is like very, very hard, and nobody wants to help. And getting through to you was like, oh my gosh, let me just talk to somebody who is willing to help. It's just like, at least somebody can listen to me. So I am very, very, very humbled.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get that out. Wanted to get that out there. I do appreciate you.
Yeah, we're living in a world that doesn't want to listen, that's valuing money over problem solving sometimes. But we do the best that we can. And it was one of the things I wanted to do with my channel, which was to give voice to people who would otherwise not be listened to. Who would be, ignored, who would not find the right platforms where people would pay attention and just listen. So in talking about lupus, you are not living in Kenya, you're a diasporan Kenyan. I think we go back to the beginning, being diagnosed with lupus, because the cases of lupus that we as Kenyans are aware of hundreds of times are first and foremost misdiagnosed. Nobody gets the lupus diagnosis correct. Was it the same case for you in America?
Yes. I was in and out of the hospital, and actually for me, and I have told this story so many times, mm-hmm. I fell in my office, like they had to call the ambulance for me, almost died. Was rushed 911 to the hospital. They thought I had a major heart attack. Stayed there the 4th day. That is when they called a rheumatologist, and that is when they told me that I had lupus. I was there, of course, for long before they stabilized me, and then went home, and that's when my journey began. And that was in 2013. But before then, they could not tell why I was in pain. They could not tell why my hands were turning purple, why I was gaining weight, when I was losing weight, why I was losing hair, why I was in pain. But yet I was young. And even when I went to the hospital the day that I fell, they could not tell why it looked like I had a major heart attack. And I was a young woman with no prior medical history.
When you say you were a young woman and there were a batch of symptoms that had happened before collapsing in the workplace, how old were you? And also tell us about the symptoms that you were experiencing before.
The symptoms were very vague: headache, losing hair, I could fluctuate in weight. Like this time I'm gaining weight. And because I used to be an avid, like you can't tell now because I have gained too much weight because of medication. That time I was an avid runner. So my joint pain, most of the time it was a lot of joint pain. And I was thinking it was because I was running and working out a lot. I was thinking it was disease, like I was misusing my joints because of running. So I was having a lot of joint pain. And every time I could go to the doctor or to the hospital, they would think, because of the vagueness of the symptoms, like the joint pain, the headache, the nausea. I was like 30 years old or something like that, 32, I remember 32. And they would think it's because it's a flu, so they'll think that I'm pain medication seeking. There's something like pain medication seeking here.
Yes,
they'll think that I'm abusing drugs,
yes,
and I'm just going for a quick medication fix.
Right.
That is why I'm going in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll give me just a few medications, like 10 of them, that I would never feel, because I'm like, I don't want medication. I just want to know why I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
And nobody gave me answers. And if I never fell at work, which I don't even know how I made it, I would never have gotten.
You'd have continued living. Yeah, you'd have continued
Yes.
with those symptoms. So
Mm-hmm.
Is it right for me to say that throughout your adolescence as a young child, there were no symptoms, there was nothing to show that you had a chronic disease that was waiting, it was on the slumber waiting to wake up at one point?
No.
In fact, you even mentioned you were a runner.
No, I was I was like, when I was in high school, there was some stuff that nobody knew what it was, and it quickly disappeared just as soon as it came, and they never knew what it was, and it disappeared. And when I was little, there's something that happened. I think I was admitted at Tumutumu for a while. I don't even know I vaguely remember that. Yeah. But it is nobody. I don't know what it was. I can ask my mom. She's here. I never asked her. But as vaguely as I remember that, I just think it's just the way kids get sick or whatever. Yeah. But as quickly as it came, it went away. But as an adult or growing up, I don't remember anything else. Yeah. But so I was healthy. And people say eat well, drink, eat well, eat healthy, work out, you'll avoid all this. I did exactly that. So. Okay. So I see people like now telling me you should work out more. You're the one who is not wanting to heal because your eating is not healthy. I'm among the most. I can show you what I pack for my lunch, and I don't even get hungry. And you'll see I'm not an unhealthy person. Right. It's like I just packed a tangerine, a banana, a smoothie, and coconut water. Tell me what is unhealthy about that. And that is my daily, like, food. I don't get hungry. I might carry that and still come back with it because I don't get hungry. Mm-hmm. It's not the unhealthy part of it. It's just that the disease itself and the medication with it.
It comes with its own side.
Yeah, it comes with that. Yeah. So, yeah.
The thing about lupus, and many of us who've been exposed to conversations around lupus, is it's a condition that you carry for life. And for the sufferer of lupus, for the one who must live with lupus, it's about managing the condition. And it manifests in so many different ways. And that's why it's such a confusing condition to diagnose, because its symptoms can point to so many different diseases, and patients can be treated for so many different illnesses and conditions before they finally zero in on what the problem has always been. Now, let's talk about maintenance for you. What does that mean? And when it flares up, what does that also mean?
I do get infusions every month. Yeah. They are brutal. Like last weekend, I kept my mom and my daughter up on Saturday night up nobody slept until 4 a.m. in the morning because I was having migraines. And my mom was like, "You need to go to the hospital." My daughter was like, "Not yet. I know how it gets." My mom had to come with like an emergency because I have been having intracranial pressure.
Yeah.
My veins in my brain have shrunk because of lupus, to a point that my spinal fluid is not getting to the brain with the pressure that it's supposed to be. I have had spinal taps to remove some of the spinal. It's like appointment after appointment after appointment after appointment. On Tuesday, I had an audit at work, but I still had to tell them, "Hey, I have this CT scan that I have to do because they are checking my chest because I'm having like a lot of shortness of breath." So the maintenance is that you have to follow up with your doctor. I take 20-something medications a night, and that does not include what I took today morning before we started the conversation. I have to keep on taking my medication. I cannot skip my medication because that is how I fight. That does not include anything else that they throw on my way. You know what I mean? Yeah. I see numerous doctors because there's no one doctor that can help you maintain. The lupus doctor is a rheumatologist. That is one. That is the one that maintains the autoimmune lupus condition. Yeah. But because I have so many organs involved, like my lungs, I have to see a pulmonologist. So when I go to the pulmonologist, I have to do the pulmonary function tests. I have to do the CT scans of my chest. I have to do, like now I'm being told I have to do pulmonary rehab for 12 weeks because I'm having shortness of breath and my lungs are failing and all that stuff, So there's just so much that is involved. So because of the intracranial pressure, I have to see the eye doctor because of the optic nerve swelling, and the neurologist because of the headaches. There's no one doctor that you can see. And because there's stomach involvement, I have to see the GI doctor. They also have to do the yearly endoscopy, colonoscopy. They have to do this just so much. It's a very expensive disease.
Yes, it is.
And that is, yes. And it, like, people ask me, why do you go to work every day? Sanity. If I sat home every day, I would go crazy. If I sat here, and that is different for every person. And the thing, some people, it comes with a lot of severeness. Some people, it's milder. So it affects people differently. For me, the only organ it has not hit right now is the kidneys. And I thank God. When you say, I thank God, even if you're going through so much, I say it could be worse, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because I have something to thank God for. At least my kidneys are whole. There's somebody else who's struggling with their kidneys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you look for that bright light in your life that you should. But it's a very expensive business to answer your question.
You've just mentioned 25 medications. I mean, in a day, I don't even want to do the math on how many pills you have to swallow. That in itself, the cost of the medication is expensive. Seeing all these specialists, it's not just a GP that you deal with. It's so many different specialists. That's an extra cost. And I think your health insurance as a diasporan really simamias for you. It really comes through for you on that end. Yes, it is still expensive, but the cost of managing lupus in America vis-a-vis managing it in Kenya today.
It's still expensive in the US because I am using my insurance from work. So we have something that they call a deductible and out-of-pocket maximum. So in January, the beginning of the year, I have to meet the deductible and out-of-pocket maximum. So before I get my infusions in January, I still have to come up with $10,000. So you have to kind of keep on saving. You're not going to stop saving because I have to get my infusions. We have tried getting me off the infusions and it doesn't work. Like I get really sick to a point that I'm admitted in the hospital. So I cannot get off those infusions. So we have that clear. So I have to meet my deductible. So I cannot not see my doctor. It's still expensive, but at least when I'm too sick, if I walk to the hospital right now and I'm too sick without insurance, they will see me. In Kenya, though, I had a girl call me, from the support group, and she went to Kenyatta. She did not have 700 Kenya shillings, $7, and they turned her away. And I was like, why?
That breaks my heart. The state of healthcare in our nation, it's a small issue and needs addressing since the year of independence. Yet,
when you talk to the people who are responsible, like when I tried to get in touch with them, that time they were working on BBI, and I'm like, okay, so BBI is more important than people who are dying. We had to come up with a solution. Like it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But selling you see me selling T-shirts. 100% of the profit goes towards that. We have done like 30 cases. That is not sustainable too, because medications, we need more. They're using these medications every month. They need to see consultation every month. Every person needs to go. We don't want people dying. Like there's a time we were losing people through kidney failure because they cannot be able to go to their doctors. There's a guy who called me, and I can remember. He called me and told me I need 2,100 Kenya shillings, right? That is around $20 here. He's like, I need to see my kidney doctor. I said, okay, I send that money. He goes to the kidney doctor. He was admitted and started on dialysis. Tell me, if I did not send that $20, would we not have been raising money for his funeral?
That is true.
It is sad. So why is NHIA not paying these medications for this medication and the consultation fee? Save the mortality rate.
I admire your passion because you're already carrying the cross. For many people, we would be, hii ni mzigo yangu, wacha nijibebe mwenyewe. But for you, it's not just about you managing and coping on your own across the seas. You're reaching back to Kenya. You've started the support group. Why was starting the support group important to you?
I never talked about lupus on my journey. And one time, I was in the hospital. That was 2018 or 2019, one of the 2 years. I don't even remember the time, but it was around there sometime. I was in the hospital. I was hospitalized. And when I was in there, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I die? I was very septic. I was really sick. And nobody knew what I was ailing from.
Right.
Everybody was like, wow, tulikuwa na yeye juzi. I know. So what I didn't want was people to stigmatize my family. AIDS, I know what comes with. I wanted for my family to be told what exactly killed me if I had to die. I wanted people to know exactly what killed me. So when I came out of the hospital that Monday, I started doing live videos on Facebook. And I started telling people my journey. And I started telling people, you need to know lupus. And people started coming and understanding my story.
Okay.
And people started coming to my inbox, my sister, my brother, my what. So now I have all these people that have their sister, their cousins, their whatever. Now I'm here wondering. So I started a Facebook group. It has like 2.9K members from all over the world.
That's amazing.
Because I can't keep it Kenyan.
No, it's a global problem, yes.
So, but now that is just a support group because people are coming asking me questions. We're asking questions. We started that with she's a PA. She has so much. She's Dr. Faith. So we started that together. She helped me. She's the founder of Howie Healthcare. Howie. It's called Howie. Yes. We have something called brain fog. I cannot remember anything. Anyway, she's Faith. She's good. She helped me out. We started that because there was a need. We started. And then later on, as I'm doing the live videos and doing all that and spreading awareness, the group now became a way people reached out from Kenya. And I'm like, okay, now I have to put these people in one place so that I can address the problems in one place. So that is what I did. And then I opened like now when I say I have to do it in a legal way, I opened a nonprofit with the same name because that is what I did. I opened it and it's just like a year old. I opened it in February, COVID hit in March. So there's nothing. And then people like when we started the nonprofit, like I was like, oh my gosh, people are dying. Like why are we doing rest in peace every week? So I started asking, when is the last time you took your medication? And when is the last time you saw your doctor?
Yeah.
Shock. The last time I saw my doctor was 3 years ago. The last time I took my medication was 6 months ago. That is why people are dying. They cannot afford, they cannot sustain. But see, because of COVID and because nobody wants to sponsor or help me out, I'm doing it alone. So I was like, you know what? I was selling the t-shirts for myself to help me with my 10,000 deductible. I was like, I'm in the US. I can be able to walk into the ER if I'm sick. So why not take that initiative and sell the hoodies, sell the t-shirts, make this money, help support? That is not sustainable. So sometimes I have to dig into my own pockets and help. Because if you don't sell, then they need you. What do? Are you going to let somebody die?
No, you do the best that you can. We've all been to value health, and health really is wealth. But looking at what you've had to endure, it is not easy. You've got such a cheer about you. You're such a beautiful, happy soul. How do you stay so happy yet you live with such pain?
I was not always like that. 2013, 2014, I was really mad at God. I was really mad because I was like, I ate healthy. I worked out, and as a nurse, I was working as a nurse. And you know, God has a way of humor. I remember very well getting to work and getting on. That time I was doing case management and wounds. I was transitioning. And I had a patient who was exactly like me. The only thing was she was worse. She had had a stroke. I had not. And I looked into like the mirror and I told myself, this is God telling me something. It could be worse, but it's not. And I, like in life, you have to find your purpose. I think I found it. I think God had to use me in a way to reach the people that I'm reaching out to save a few lives through my illness.
And that's the human experience. And I think God is like our own earthly fathers or mothers. God also likes us to be honest with him, where you can say, I don't understand this, I don't like this, and I'm angry, These emotions didn't just come out of nowhere. If we get angry, it's also because God gets angry about things. So he understands that emotion, that anger is, and he knows that we're even weaker. Carrying anger is very difficult for a human being, but to be honest enough to bring it to him and say, I'm mad, Dad, I'm really upset right now. And he has his own ways of dealing with that anger. But living with the pain and helping other people, there is a mission, there is a purpose. Where are you going?
So long as I save a life, so long as I feel like I have touched one life, even if it's just one life that I have saved, I might not be able to save everybody because not everybody's condition is savable. We might try, but not everybody's condition is savable. I am not oblivious about that. But those that I am able to save, if I'm able to provide 30 days worth of medication to one person or consultation fee for that one time so that they can go and be seen, then that is okay. I live every day in pain, and I cannot imagine somebody else living in pain and without the basic needs, the basic, like the basic weapon to fight. So it's just like we are calling them lupus warriors, but they don't have the weapon to fight. So what is that? you put somebody on the front line of the war without a weapon.
Equip them and let them fight the battle, but
yes.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like we, as a human being, we have to let them fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, not firing them from their jobs because they are sick or because you learn that they have a chronic illness. I feel like if lupus was put as a disability in Kenya and they put a law that people with disabilities cannot be discriminated against like it is here, then people will not be getting fired just because they're sick. Because now you have fired somebody. They are chronically ill. They need medication. So what are they supposed to do?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, when you're talking about chronic conditions, healthcare insurance also is the first to walk away from the table when it comes to insuring those who've got chronic conditions. And if they don't do that, then the premiums become very, very, it's just a difficult place to be. And everyone has got a role to play in making that difference. And in looking at society as a whole, what would you ask of not just the American society, but the Kenyan society when it comes to lupus and those with lupus? You've appealed to employers. You have obviously tried your best to reach lawmakers to try and begin to change and shape the conversations concerning people with chronic illnesses, especially lupus. Going forward as a community, as a multitude of human beings who can do the right thing, what is your advice? What would you like to see happen?
Awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody who is sick with an unknown invisible condition is bewitched. We lost a girl, like I would say a month ago, because the family did not want to have her treated because they didn't understand the condition.
Mm-hmm.
So they let her die, even when we provided the guidance to rheumatology.
Mm-hmm.
The stigma.
Mm.
We need awareness. My biggest thing is grassroots awareness. I'm a Kikuyu, so I'm gonna be very RL.
Don't worry, there's no judgment. There's no judgment. Whether you've been in home is home is home. We are who we are. Whether we're in America, whether we're still in Kiambu or Muranga or wherever, it's okay, Annie. I love you anyway.
So grassroots awareness is very, very important. I wish I wish people could spread awareness so that everybody can know about lupus.
Yeah.
And that is why, I don't know whether you can see it. Let me see.
There we go. No lupus.
It has two words in it. It says
there's no lupus and then no, apana, lupus.
Yes. So for a world without lupus, we must know lupus.
Yeah.
So that is what it says. So for us to be able to fight it, we must know KNOW. We know lupus.
Yeah.
For a world with NO lupus.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It has to start with us. We cannot churn the people who are sick because a chronic illness like lupus is just like diabetes. But now diabetes is well known.
And easy to manage. And people don't look twice at people with diabetes or assume witchcraft or anything.
Exactly. But because lupus is and diabetes is very invisible too. But people know diabetes. Lupus is also very invisible. So if I had pain written on my face, would people judge me and judge my disability? No. But they judge me because they see me looking like this and they think that I'm not sick. But if I had on my lungs, failing lungs, would people look at me the same way? No, because they will know that my lungs are not working properly.
Yeah.
If I say pulmonary hypertension, my heart is not working the same way a healthy person's is because of lupus, would they judge me the same way? No. they will not. Lupus is very invisible. Just because somebody is walking and talking does not mean that they are as healthy as they look.
Right.
Lupus is very, 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 very debilitating and very, very invisible. You could be talking to someone today, and the next day they are actually in a deathbed.
Right.
We need to just stop stigmatizing the diseases that we don't know nothing about. Lupus is not cancer. We use the same medication for cancer to treat lupus. Yes, we do, but it's not cancer. At least cancer is known. If you tell somebody so-and-so has cancer, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But when you tell somebody has lupus, okay. They're not
there's a
equal,
lot of
no.
knowledge around lupus that people don't know, but yeah.
Yes, so what we need to do is I wish every radio station had a way of just like those grassroots radio stations had a way one day a week of talking about lupus. And if they did that for a whole month, then everybody in the village will be talking about it because they have heard about it. You know what I mean? They just need to do it for a week, for a month, and then that's it, because everybody will be grassroots. Right. Because that is where it starts. That is where stigma starts. Those are the people that are actually not getting help and being left to die. That is where the misdiagnoses are starting. We only have 12 rheumatologists in Kenya. 12. 1, 2, 12. Count them. So somebody in Isiolo has to go to Nairobi to get treatment.
Yeah.
We don't have a rheumatologist in Isiolo.
Just recently, I sat with 3 neurologists who shared with me about their profession, about the work that they do. And they told me they were 3 out of 36 in Kenya. As a nation, our healthcare, again, is still on its knees. As Kenyans, I believe there's such a big gap between us as the people who need the physicians and the physicians. There's a big bridge. There's some kind of divide between physicians and the population. And this gap is so easy for people to manipulate. It's easy for politicians to say, when doctors go on strike, you see, these people make so much money and now they're on strike and then they're punishing you. When really there are other things that are happening within this gap, which prevents Kenyans from being knowledgeable about what it means to be a doctor, which also prevents doctors from being easily accessible, which prevents doctors from staying in Kenya to treat Kenyans. They look for opportunities outside of Kenya, because I'm sure as we have 12 that you're mentioning, or 36 neurologists that I heard about, we must have even more numbers of the same who are practicing outside of our borders. Why will they not come home? Because they know about this divide in the middle, which keeps them from giving that quality care, which keeps you and others like you here from getting access to that care. So we need to have these conversations. Everything starts by just saying, come on, guys. And
what I feel like every general hospital in Kenya should be equipped with a rheumatologist.
Yeah. Every kind of specialist available.
Yes. Why we don't, it's because now, like, yeah, that is another can of worms.
This is a conversation which I'm not going to bench. I'm not going to shout, because it feeds into subsequent conversations that we will be having about a better Kenya, about why we all need to begin to choose Kenya, about the things that will make Kenya better going forward. But going back to you as Anne, you've got a beautiful, lovely daughter. Do you worry about this condition expressing itself in her?
Not really. Actually, she started taking care of me when she was 9 years old. I forgot to mention that. Yes. So that is why you hear her being dominant in push that, shove that, sit here, go there. Because she's been doing that in my weak and my broken times since she was 9. I cannot take a bath. And this is now real talk. without her being there, because she doesn't trust that I'll be able to get out of the bath without her help, whether I'm strong enough to or not. She trusts herself to help me get out of the bath every time. So I worry sometimes, but I am a prayerful person, and I trust that it's not. In my family, my great-grandma passed at 102. There's nobody who has any autoimmune disease. I might have 4 autoimmune diseases because I have scleroderma. That is why the nonprofit is called Scleroderma, Lupus, and other autoimmune diseases. Right. Because I have scleroderma, lupus, and other autoimmune diseases. But I think the power of the tongue is very important, and I don't manifest that in my daughter. I'm the only person, me, that in my family and my lineage that has it. So I don't manifest that in my daughter. Will I have her tested? Yes, I will. Yeah. But I just testing just because I am a nurse and I'm not oblivious about all this stuff, but I'm just also gonna speak positivity in her.
Goodbye for now. I'll see you soon. What an incredible story. It's not been easy for our guest, but she's doing the very best that she can. Thank you so much for catching up with this episode. I'm looking forward to living out loud with you next week. Remember, we are at the Diani Sea Lodge. Have you made your reservations yet? All right then, go for it. Until then, live out loud in all that you do. Bye for now.